baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
This afternoon from Milwaukee, NBC Sports presents Game 5 of the 1982 World Series. The American League champions, the Milwaukee Brewers, against the National League champions, the St. Louis Cardinals. Brought to you by Foamy, the shave cream that's more than thick and rich enough for a clean, close shave. By Miller High Life, the best beer for the best time of the day. Welcome to Miller Time. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Timex, durability, beauty, and great design aren't expensive, just rare. Timex, we make technology beautiful. Another capacity crowd, temperature 50 degrees, but the fans, they are dressed for this occasion. They've come in woolen caps, gloves, and they're ready for Game 5 of this World Series. It'll be Caldwell against Bob Forsch. And just moments ago, there you see Frank Torrey, who was a member of the city of Milwaukee's last two World Series teams, the 1957 and 58 Braves, a first baseman, brother of Joe Torrey with his lovely wife Ann. He threw out the first ball. And we're getting ready for Game 5, and it's a game, as we said earlier, that anything can happen. These Milwaukee Brewers, explosive. The Cardinals, jackrabbits on the bases. We're ready.
And Joe, you mentioned the temperature here. That's 50 degrees, probably at the airport. But down in a little bit of a hole here at County Stadium, it's probably a little bit cooler, around 47. But the important thing with that wind is going to be the wind chill factor. It is down around 37 right now. Caldwell, pretty much of a breaking ball pitcher. He's got the sinker, little screwball, curve, as is Forsch. And it'll be interesting to see with that cold wind blowing the moisture off their fingers if they can control their off-speed stuff.
He doesn't have a sweatshirt on. He thinks it's July 4th. And I guess in the 5th game of the World Series, if you won the first one, it doesn't make any difference about the weather. This is the big game.
Now we heard Mike Marshall with Tom Seaver analyzing the Bruce Sutter split-fingered fastball. That is another one of his theories. Andujar the other night did not wear a sweatshirt. Cott never does, no matter what the cold is. Caldwell, and Mike Marshall has a theory for that.
And I might add that to Mike Marshall and the high-speed film, that was the best explanation I've ever seen of that split-fingered fastball or whatever it is. It was sensational. It was a great piece of film, a good spot.
Caldwell, of course, the brilliant three-hit complete ball game in St. Louis. He had excellent control of his sinker. Change-up that looks like a screwball at times. And I do believe we'll see a little bit different Force today because he didn't pitch as well as he has most of this year.
Lonnie Smith will lead it off for the Cardinals, and Lonnie Smith is the designated hitter today.
See, this is the 5th different lineup that Whitey Herzog has used.
First pitch deflected. Lonnie Smith is on with the single. The first pitch of the game, and Lonnie Smith is on. David Green will bat second. Batting third will be Keith Hernandez. George Hendrick is in right field, the cleanup spot. Darrell Porter is the catcher. McGee is in center field. Oberkfell is at third base. Herr at second base, and batting ninth, Ozzie Smith. So Green, who's batting second, is the left fielder. Smith at first base. First pitch of the ball game, he hit a line drive back at Caldwell. He's on. Strike one.
You can see the quick delivery to home plate by Caldwell. He was not going to show Lonnie Smith any moves, at least on the first pitch. He wanted to get ahead of David Green, and he unloaded a strike in a hurry. Here's the angle that we will see Lonnie Smith's lead and the move of Caldwell in case Smith tries to use his speed.
One strike to count. Not his good move.
Got a good lead, as you can see.
Strike 2 on David Green. He's a big guy, 21 years old. He's listed at 6'3", 165 pounds, born in Managua, Nicaragua, became a Cardinal from the Milwaukee Brewers along with LaPointe, Sorensen, and Lascano in that Simmons, Raleigh Fingers, and Vukovic deal. David Green with Smith at first. Smith stole 68 bases. He was second to Tim Raines. He was caught 26 times.
Tommy Herr has been the leadoff hitter for Whitey Herzog's Cardinals each of the first 4 games.
And he breaking back that time, and it's ball 1. Lonnie Smith breaking back towards first base.
Caldwell with not a particularly good move to first base. Showed you McClure, who has about the best. Caldwell gives you different looks with a knee kick, a head fake, unloads quickly home, and that half balk move that you just saw, bending the rules.
The great explanations by Beans Reardon. Half balk. He said, all right, I'll give you halfway to second. 1-2 pitch. There goes Smith. The throw. Safe. Green is out on strikes, but Smith steals the base.
And what great position by second base umpire Bill Haller, or actually Lee Wire, right on the play.
See what kind of jump he gets off Caldwell. Pretty good one. He gave him the knee kick that time, went home. Teddy unloaded in a hurry. The one thing Ted Simmons said he's going to do throughout this series is not, you worry about this base stealer. He wants to get him if he can, but not detract from the pitcher pitching to the hitter. It's very important. He said, I'm going to go curveball if I think I can get him out with curveball.
Hernandez is the batter.
See, what is that?
Low ball 1.
7 of 8 now. Successful steals.
6 stolen bases in the series for the Cardinals. 6 of 7. That head-first slide made it that the throw being high, Smith was able to get his hands in there. The toughest tag that anybody can make is when you have only the target of the hands. 1 ball, no strikes on Hernandez, looking for his first base hit. 2 balls and no strikes, 1 out. Lonnie Smith is on at second base. Hernandez and Hendrick, 2 for 28. Caldwell.
Bunch of balloons out in center field blowing behind Gorman Thomas and Hernandez to show you the concentration, the intensity of a hitter. He saw them, he said, they're distracting me. So Gorman's going to have to go out and, knowing Gorman, instead of throwing it back, he'd probably step on him and pop him to retain his image.
He was something in the press conference when the fans booed him, which is unusual. Gorman said they weren't booing me, they were booing for me. There it is. All right. His hands. Macho Man. He is something.
He's the only one who can applaud for that, isn't he?
We'll probably get a stat. Most balloons broken during World Series 5th game, 2. We're all set to go here with Keith Hernandez. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Top of the first. Lonnie Smith is on at second base. He singled and stole second. Mike Caldwell, take a note of that hat. Something with him with that hat, because when you look at it, it's not brand new. As we look at Lonnie Smith, runs, he led it with 120. Favorite old cap he wears. There goes the runner from second. Here's the throw. They should get him. They got him.
Coming right at you, Lonnie Smith, who just stole second base a while ago. Right on the money by Ted Simmons, and he unloaded in a hurry. You can see the advantage that he has throwing with a left-handed Hernandez up. You can see the runner go. It does not have to throw to the top of the head of the right-handed hitter.
The advantage of the high and low throw, that was a low throw where all the third baseman Molitor had to do was catch the ball, and the tag was actually made by Smith. Hernandez lines one to right field. That's his first base hit of the World Series. So what a key play by Ted Simmons getting Lonnie Smith.
Whitey Herzog, who has lived by the sword all year long, just died a little bit by that because he lets his runners run, and that's the way he wanted. He'll continue to do it.
There is Lonnie Smith, who tried to steal third.
He got thrown out, and some might say it's a bad play, but when you win a pennant that way, National League pennant. You continue to do it.
George Hendrick, the batter. 2 men out. And it's ball 1. No score. Single and a stolen base put Smith in scoring position, but a fine throw by Simmons got him trying to steal third. 2 balls and no strikes. You might take a look at the umpiring style of Satch Davidson. He does 2 things that are a little bit different. He gets down on his one knee, and he also uses his hand on the back of the catcher. Some catchers don't like that, but he finds out where the catcher's going by doing that. Bouncing ball and Molitor to Gantner. Forces on top of the first is over. Although the Cardinals got 2 hits and not score, and this crowd is ready. So we go into the bottom half of the first. No score. Molitor, Yount, and Cooper coming up. From behind the right. Here's Dick with the lineups.
All right. The Milwaukee Brewers, the Harvey Wallbangers. Paul Molitor is the same lineup that Harvey Keene used yesterday. Robin Yount, who now has 7 hits and leads the series with 5 RBIs. Cecil Cooper with a home run. Those top 3 men still doing a good job, hitting .368, .412, and .353. Switch hitting Ted Simmons. Gorman Thomas, who had the game-winning 2-run single yesterday, is actually hitting in the 5 spot. Just switch those 2. Van Ogilvie hits 5. Gorman Thomas hits 6. Don Money is the designated hitter. Charlie Moore in right field, and Jim Gantner at second base.
There you see Bob Forsch. Bob Forsch in game 1 went 5 2/3 innings, allowed 6 runs, 4 were earned runs, gave up 10 hits. The Cardinals lost that game 10-0. Bob Forsch, he doesn't strike out many, 2.7 strikeouts per 9 innings, averages 2.1 walks per 9 innings. Molitor, a good first ball hitter. Tries to bunt it, doesn't get it, and it's strike 1.
Joe, I asked Darrell Porter if he would try to do something different with Forsch this game than he did the last game he faced him. He said no. So I will continue to throw them fastballs because I think the home runs by them are hit off poor breaking balls. He said what I want though is that kind of location down in the strike zone with a fastball, not up as Forsch had it in St. Louis.
It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Satch Davidson behind the plate. You'll see him get down on his knee. And there's a little bit of a story behind that. I talked to Al Barlick, former National League umpire, and Jocko Conlon about that. See the hand on the catcher? A foul ball. He does that. I asked Satch about that. He said, so I know which way the catcher's going to move. It's just a light touch that he has. Getting down on his knee is something new. And Jocko said, Augie Donatelli, his friend, was the first one. He said, when I saw him do it, I said to him, Augie, are you on one knee to pray? You're going to get the next one right? Jocko, a good dealer. They're good friends. Center field. McGee, plenty of room. 1 out.
We saw in yesterday's ball game a ball that Molitor hit the center field harder than that one, but it kept carrying. The wind blowing in a gale from right field will kill the ball defensively. David Green, Willie McGee, George Hendrick, Ken Oberkfell, Ozzie Smith, Tom Herr, Keith Hernandez, Darrell Porter catching Bob Forsch.
Got their 3 fastest men in the outfield today.
Robin Yount. There's a strike. You can hear the crowd in the background chanting MVP. And I don't think there's any doubt about it. If he doesn't get MVP, there's something wrong. Two quick strikes on Robin Yount. Yount, 7 for 17 in the series, hitting at .412. One ball, 2 strikes. Bob Forsch. Bob and his brother Ken, California, are the first brother combination in baseball history to pitch no-hitters. Missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, no score, bottom of the first. The hit leaders here in the World Series. Molitor and Yount with 7, 3 are tied at 5.
And they got a bunch of those, Yount and Molitor, in game number 1. Since then, they've been a little bit more quiet.
Out of play. Looks like another jammed ballpark here. I'll tell you, before the game, it's worth it just walking around the parking lot. Tailgate parties. I mean, groups and just everybody having a great time. Oh, off the leg. Young has himself a hit.
Here like a hit off the right heel.
Well, the way this thing's going, the pitchers are going to be endangered species. Joaquin Andahar, the first inning, both pitchers, Caldwell and Force.
You pitch Robin Yount down or out over the place up. Played up, he can take you downtown to right field, as Jim Palmer so well knows. There it is, out over the plate where you can get those arms out. Off the left foot, well, near the arch area or the toe.
Force looked at it as if it might be stuck on his spikes. He looked at it, maybe it's still there.
Harvey Keene. Harvey, who has time for everybody. Here is Cecil Cooper. He is 6 for 17.
White Herzog continues to play as center fielder and left fielder very deep. He's conceding some singles to this Brewer lineup and trying to take the extra base hit in the alleys away. Look at that. About like Willie McGee played yesterday. David Green. Left, Willie McGee in center. George Hendrick, most shallow of the three.
Cooper can use the whole ballpark. He sprays the ball. Right field, that's a base hit. Young will stop at second. The Brewers have something going, and it'll bring up Ted Simmons. Watch this crowd react. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Wave TV, Channel 3, Louisville.
Robin Yount at second base. Cooper's on at first base. One man out. Ted Simmons in the batter's box. No score. We're in the bottom of the first. Simmons at first game in St. Louis. Big hitter. Home run. There you see the runners. Yount at second, Cooper at first. Oh, one.
That was no knockdown. That was a breaking ball. Bob Force just overthrew a little bit.
Simmons hitting .286 in this World Series. Curveball outside. 2-0. Simmons, a good cripple shooter. And this is where I think the catcher who has worked with the pitcher, Simmons and Force, having been together with the Cardinals, you've got a little bit of an edge. He'll be looking for a particular pitch in a particular spot. It's like fastball, Tony. Foul ball. He hit a fastball in St. Louis, 3-1. Force came back here 2-0 and challenged him. Willie McGee with 2 home runs, and Simmons with 2 home runs, Cooper with 1.
See if he goes fastball again, but this time tries to get the ball down low in the strike zone, sinking, trying to get the double play.
It's like breaking ball. Let's see. Foul ball, out of play. Couldn't really tell.
Slider action on it, or possibly a cut fastball if Force throws one. Cut fastball that will run in on a left-hander from a right-handed pitcher.
Robin Yount is on at second base. Cooper's on at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is the big pitch right here. His pitch of decision. He wants it to happen on 2-2. 3-2 chances. They'll be running. Infield will be broken up. Edges with Force here. Pickoff play. Threw it away to center field. Yount is heading for third. Heading for second is Cooper.
Brewers had trouble in Game 3 early yesterday. Then the Cardinals started having trouble. Force tries to throw the ball very hard. You wonder if that wasn't a daylight play, where if Force saw daylight between Ozzie Smith and the runner Yount, it was time to throw. Could have been that or a count play. It looked more like a daylight play to me.
I agree with you, because he really had no signal. He turned quickly, and Smith was in between the base runner Yount, the bag, and had plenty of room. If he throws it to the shortstop side, the bag. But now the Brewers, an error on Force. Brewers have base runners at second and third. One man out. The count, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ted Simmons. High bouncing ball. Hernandez is going to take the play at first, and a run scores. He started to come to the plate, and Milwaukee leads 1-0.
Well, with your number 4 hitter up, 2 men in scoring position, you're going to play it back. If Whitey had elected to play it in, you never know what would have happened, but you just can't with 4 hitter up early in the ball game, where the chance if the ball gets through, you give up 2 runs. So Whitey was conceding 1 run.
The error by Force, of course, took the Cardinals out of the double play situation. With the speed of Simmons, that could have been a double play ball. He'd been out of the inning.
Cooper remains at second base, and Hernandez, looking like he was going to come to the plate, froze Cooper at second base because he had to make sure he knew what Yount was going to do. Here's Ogilvie. 1-0 Milwaukee.
That was a little bit of a base running mistake really on Cooper's part, because Yount broke all the way with 1 out, and Cooper was watching Hernandez. He should have been watching the lead runner. He might have been on third base where you've got some opportunities to score. Infield hit, we can go on and on. Balks, wild pitches, pass balls.
1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs, 1-0 Milwaukee leading. Outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Cooper, second base. He's saying get a good ball to hit. Don't get over anxious. Ah, 3-0. And you can, well, I was going to say you can bet that turn him loose. I would.
Well, you know, with first base open,
he's not
2
going to
outs,
get a good ball to hit.
right-handed hitter, Gorman Thomas up. Gorman got the big hit. Now he's not going to get the ball his right.
If he gets a good ball to hit, though, he's going to fly open like a window shade. He's ready to hit. 3-0. Let's see. Line drive deep to center field, way back, but there to make the play is McGee. He turned him loose. He hit it hard, but right at him. So 1 run scores at the end of 1 full inning. It's Milwaukee 1, St. Louis nothing. From the Goodyear, he is one of only 20 blimp pilots in the world. Mike Caldwell at cap, when you get a good look at it, looks like the equipment truck came a little bit late by Mike's house. It is really beat up. Usually they give you new uniforms, new caps. But I think Mike missed the first delivery.
That's more than 1 year old, folks.
Well, you'd wear in Sunday ball, right? In the old county league.
Here is Darrell Porter. He's 5 for 14. Bouncing ball. Gantner played it perfectly. 1 out.
Now we've showed you shot after shot in this series of how the Brewers have stacked their defense in the hole for him. Gantner with gun range has been cut down a little bit after knee surgery about a year ago. Two-handed second baseman, very durable on the double play. And it glides. He covers more ground than you give him credit for, and he's a very smart player.
Glad you said two-handed, because like dirt, the two-handed player in baseball is almost obsolete. Willie McGee. High, ball 1. McGee, 3 for 11, 2 home runs, hitting .273.
He really got this start in Whitey Herzog's mind against a left-hander because of the big day he had with the 2 home runs earlier.
Molitor, the grab, the throw, 2 outs.
So 3 ground ball outs in a row now. Similar to what we saw in the first game at Caldwell pitched. He's got the sinker ball down.
Larry Haney, one of the coaches over here, said It's not, the weather's not going to affect him. Nothing affects him if he keeps the ball down. If he keeps it up, he's in trouble. As simple as all that. This is Oberkfell, 4 for 12 in this series. 333. 2 outs, nobody on. 1-0 Milwaukee leading, top of the second. That's Davidson behind the plate. It's ball 1.
Caldwell was something the second half. Before, well, the first half of the season, he was 6-8 with almost a 5 ERA, and then he went on a tear.
Line drive, that's a base hit in the right center field. Oberkfell rounding first. He's going to hold on with a single.
After the second half of the season, he was 11-5. ERA right around 3.
Caldwell in the first game of the World Series had a 3-hit shutout, walked 1, struck out 3. Averages 2.6 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2 walks per 9 innings. He puts the ball in play. To quote the late and great Casey Stengel, he throws a lot of ground balls.
You can see the stat on the board right there, 1 for 15. The reason that Hearn's been moved out of that leadoff spot. He's got trouble getting on base. Why are you trying to take a little pressure off him?
There's a strike.
Plus the fact, too, Tony, that Hearn's statistics are not good from the right side, hitting about 201 right-handed, almost 300 left-handed.
Bouncing ball. Yount. Gantner forces on Oberkfell, ends the top half of the second inning. We move to the bottom half of the second inning. It's Milwaukee 1, St. Louis 0. Thomas, Money, and more coming up for the Brewers. Straight away center field, way back, back. This ball may be out of here. McGee right at the warning track. That wind, a big factor. The flag in right center field next to the scoreboard, blowing straight in. That ball looked like it was out of here when he touched it off. There it is, blowing in.
We're letting Gorman get those arms extended, as he did last night in a 1-ball, 2-strike pitch. A pitch that was 6 inches off the strike zone outside, and he hit the single to left field. When he can get those arms out, he can get at you. There are some teams, if you've got the good fastball, up and in, don't let him get his arms out.
And obviously, you hit the ball deep to straightaway center. You better hit it a ton. It would be interesting to see what happens if someone lifts one toward left field.
But little tip-offs. Forsch has already made 26 pitches. Caldwell, in 2 innings, only made 19. 3 balls and no strikes.
Dick and the Angels in the Milwaukee League Championship Series. Harvey Keene with Sal Bando, Freddie Federico, the trainer, and Pat Dobson, co-pitching coach. Reggie hit a ball, the dead center field that elsewhere would have gone 500 feet off Haas, and this kind of wind did exactly what it did to Gorman Thomas's ball.
3 balls and 1 strike to count on Don Money. 1 hopper right at the shortstop Smith. Here's the throw, and there are 2 outs. While we got a chance here, one of the official members of the Cardinals, Charlie Galati, who's been around the Cardinals for many, many years. It's a radar gun. Charlie at home watching the game, not feeling well. We wish him well.
Joe Forsch, the last 3 outs have been bullets. Ogilvy finished the first inning with a line shot to center. Thomas all the way to the center field wall, and now Money, that hard 1-hopper right at the shortstop.
Milwaukee Brewer lineup really loaded with some hard hitters all the way back. I tell you, it's the kind of a lineup you could hit a single and be stopping a rally. They've got some power on this club.
They haven't hit as a team except on occasions over about the last month. They've had explosive games like Baltimore. Yount hit 2 home runs, but as a team, they haven't hit for about a month. Another lineup.
Another ball well hit, but right at Ozzie Smith. 1, 2, 3 for Milwaukee. We end 2 innings of play here. The score is Milwaukee 1, St. Louis 0. An unhappy Gorman Thomas. He thought he had a home run. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Top half of the 3rd inning. And it'll be Ozzie Smith to lead it off. And here's Dick Enberg.
All right, Joe. As Ozzie Smith steps to the plate, top of the 3rd inning, 1-0. The Brewers lead. Robin Yount, what does he think of Ozzie Smith? One shortstop of the other. He does things I've never seen before. Ability to dive for a ball and make a throw is unbelievable. Yount admiring Smith's great defensive play and agility, athletic talent in this series.
I think sometimes we marvel so at his defense, as we have all year long. We forget the offensive contribution he's made to this Cardinal team with the stolen bases and keeping rallies going. Hit and running with him.
He's had 3 key hits in this series. Switch hitter. 1 strike pitch. Foul. Well, Milwaukee has been a team that has enjoyed playing on this day, Sunday. Maybe that's why Harvey Keene came out for the first time to deliver the lineup card. There you see, according to Smith, 3 toughest men to position: Garvey, Knight, and Raines. 1-2. On Sundays, the Brewers have won 18 and lost only 9 this year, and they've averaged over 7 runs a game on Sunday. 1-2. 2-2. Remember an old Tiger outfielder, Paw they called him, Charlie Maxwell. He just wait for Sundays to do all of his heavy hitting. Lonnie Smith on deck, to be followed by David Green in the St. Louis third.
His Brewer ball club, since Keene took over from Rogers, averaging about 6 a game. In the last month, however, they were not. Probably more like 4.
You know, you've got a feel for Bob Rogers. It wasn't exactly doing a bad job. He helped this ball club get to where it was, and it just needed a change to shake up the club, and Harvey Keene took over. And I wonder where Bob is and what his thoughts are as he watches his former Brewers in action.
Line drive off Caldwell's glove, and there's Gantner to Rob Smith. Oh, my.
And fortunately, we've got a left-handed pitcher on the mound, glove on the right side. If that glove's on his left hand, he would not have had time enough to react. Watch right there. It's posed right there. He's got to move maybe, what, 6 inches, a foot at the most, just enough to deflect it. Because of that, Ozzie Smith does not have a base hit.
That's 3 balls now that have been driven back through the box in this game. Lonnie Smith started the game with an infield hit off Caldwell. And then a line shot by Yount that hit the heel of Bob Force of the Cardinals.
Dick, you wonder about where Bob Rogers is. Tony and I were talking about a guy, Larry Heisel.
Oh, yeah.
Another.
Think what this lineup might have been if he could have DH'd. Here's a man who's a 35 home run hitter with 120, 30 RBIs taken away from the lineup with a rotating surgery.
1-2 on Smith. Heisel, plagued by injuries, an outstanding player, and lost to this Milwaukee club. Just missed. You saw Caldwell, that cap and that face. He is no words wasted man. He's Mr. Warmth, they call him.
Gorman's got a great name for him, Mr. Warmth.
Doesn't he look friendly? Come on over to dinner and give us a speech. All business. 2-2.
There are some pitchers who work on that. Sal Magley was like that. When I went over to the Giants, I found out he's the nicest guy in the world. I asked him, he said, I don't want to talk to the opposition. I might get to like him.
Off the outside edge, 3-2 to Smith. We're in the 3rd inning. Crucial 5th game. Each side with a pair of wins. Milwaukee wants to win, knowing they have to go to St. Louis. The Cardinals will have a home field advantage. So St. Louis figures if they can win today, they're in great shape going to Busch. Yount gets Smith. He's not flashy, but he seems to get to everything he should.
Ozzie would have made that play. I don't know if he'd have dove for it or whatever else, but Robin just glides over, looks it into his glove. And remember, that ball scooted down a little bit. Didn't bound up like the turf hop that you get that always bound up.
Robin Yount, who won a Golden Glove last year for his fielding play at shortstop.
All around, every department, total bases, stolen bases. He hasn't stolen many, but he's capable of it. Defensively, who's been better in the last 25 years? Aparicio, he didn't have the power.
David Green scuffs one to right. Charlie Moore can't get it, and no one's backing him up, and Green can run. He's on his way to 3rd. And will hold with a triple. Had that ball been hit a bit harder and rolled to the track or wall, that's an inside the park home run. So Green
serves a triple into shallow right.
Moore, one of the best out there in right field. You can talk about Armas, you can talk about Evans, Jesse Barfield from Toronto, a good-looking young player. He jammed him a little bit. You wonder as we watch him circle the bases what might have been if not for the play on Ozzie Smith by Caldwell, Lonnie Smith by Robin Yount, and this. Those are the things that started happening to this Cardinal team in about, what, the 7th inning yesterday? Things started to go against them a little bit, but they keep punching away.
It's Harvey's theory that it is a game of inches, but it's which side do the inches fall? If they fall on your side, you're going to win.
Hernandez bears watching. He's finally broken out of the World Series slump. 0 for 15 with a line single his last time up.
And you know, those 15 outs that he made, 11 of those were ground ball outs. So he's hitting a lot of balls, 5 or 6 or so hard, but right at people.
Drive to left center field, and no one there. Oh, yes, there is. Thomas, who almost makes a great catch. Green scores. It's tied at 1 on a double by Hernandez. A couple more inches again. A triple and a double, and the Birds are even.
And Joe, and Dick, that tough wind we've been talking about, off the bat of the left-hander, it's going to slice anyway, but the wind slices it more. I'll tell you, if he doesn't stop that ball, Hernandez may have gone all the way, as he runs well. Never looked, Dick, like he was going to get close at all, and yet somehow he got a glove on it. Look at where Ogilvy, he's finally coming over, and if that ball had rolled past, Gorman saved another run by stopping it. But Hernandez is smacking the ball now.
George Hendrick with a go-ahead run at second base. 2 outs here in the Cardinal 3rd inning. Thomas with that bad knee moving very well to get into the gap, and a diving try almost stole a run and an inning from the Cardinals. A light drizzle begins to fall here at County Stadium.
Cardinals have hit 4 consecutive balls hard.
In the inning, Smith led it off with a shot back through the middle deflected by Caldwell for the 1-4-3 out. And Lonnie Smith followed Ozzie with a one-hop shot that Yount fielded and made a fine play. Green, his ball was the least well hit, went for a triple, looped to right, and then a double by Hernandez. Watch out. Oh, a vicious line drive into that auxiliary box area near the dugout of the Brewers.
Johnny Johnson, who's head of the minor leagues, was right next to him.
1-2 on George Hendrick. Caldwell tying run behind him. Hernandez, or the tie-breaking run. Tough play. Gantner saves a run, and on with a base hit is Hendrick. 3 consecutive hits by the Cardinals. Gantner smothering the ball.
And when you look at the first 5 hitters in this inning, the Cardinals could have had, might have had nobody out and about 3 runs home, except for some defense by the Brewers.
So Hendrick safe at first base as Gantner makes the good defensive play up the middle. Stopping at third was Hernandez. 2 out, and Darrell Porter. He grounded to second base. That ball was well hit. In a normal alignment, that was a hit to right. But Gantner, as he is now, swung way over into the hole, took the hit away. 1-0.
And as these teams have felt each other out and national audiences watch, we've seen the defense of the Brewers really come into play. Some people did not feel they had the defense and the speed that the Cardinals do. And I think they're a little short inner defense from the Cardinals because they're about the best team in baseball. But they are pretty good also.
On the inside edge, 1-1. Hernandez with a run-tying double, and Hendrick with his infield single at first base. Porter with a key hit for the Cardinals in Game 2, the line drive 2-run double into the left field corner that helped St. Louis to a 5-4 win. 2-1. They're even in the top of the 3rd inning here at County Stadium, Milwaukee. Brewers scored in the first on an infield hit by Yount, a single by Cooper, an error by pitcher Bob Forsch, and a ground out from Ted Simmons. A triple by Green with 2 away, and Hernandez double, tying it here in the 3rd. Gantner, and the inning is over. So Caldwell allows 3 hits, but only 1 run. 2 men are left, middle of the 3rd inning. In Milwaukee, the Cardinals won, the Brewers won.
60 feet 6 inches away, you have to be able to protect yourself.
Good point. Use that glove to parry off those line shots back through the middle. That's why, you know, you talk to pitchers, even Seaver, you know, it's always ducking. Those line drives kind of put it.
Even Seaver.
Of a tick. They all have that tick. Did you ever notice that? Paul Molitor flied to center field his first time up. Since his great start, 5 hits in game 1, Cardinals have slowed him down. He is now 0 for the last 10. 2-0 and now 3-0 the count. Robin Yount to follow. A run on 6 hits for the Cardinals. And Molitor aboard. A run on 2 hits for Milwaukee. And for Force, who doesn't give up many walks, that's his first today. Did not have sharp control in game 1. And finally was knocked out of the game in the 6th inning. He had allowed 10 hits and 4 earned runs, 6 runs in all on the way to a 10-0 loss.
Hernandez motioning to Porter and to Force. This guy's liable to run, and if you're just sitting around not thinking of anything, why don't you pick the second pitch to see if he's going to run? That's always a favorite with managers.
Young takes a strike on the corner.
Molitor, the best Brewers base stealer. Yount, a hit and run man if he has to be. Another part of his versatility.
Look at those eyes.
Taking it as the lead. 1 strike the count. And Force chases him back.
What Molitor is trying to do, take a short lead and then time the rhythm of Force. If he can get the proper rhythm when the hands come down and he's going home, he'll get more momentum going towards second base.
1-1.
Force taking that kind of peekaboo look as he goes into his stretch and then picks up his target. He's watching Molitor a long time. He'll get his sign and watch his eyes just kind of peekaboo over the shoulder. He's got his sign. There he goes.
Line drive, left field corner, fair ball. Molitor to third on the 3rd double of the series for Robin Yount. Well, Yount had a sensational year. Now he's showing the world why he's the top candidate for the American League's Most Valuable Player Award. 8 hits now for Yount.
Bob Force had trouble with the ball up in game 1 against the Brewers, and it was Molitor and Yount who gave him all the trouble. This ball is up and in. Look, the kind of swing Yount has, he looks like he's tied up. You teach arm extension. Sometimes that can be overworked. I know a lot of the Latin American players hit inside out more than the American players, and they get their hands tied up and hit more with their hands than their hips. And that's the way Yount hits.
So in a 1-1 tie, last to the 3rd, the Brewers, with 1 out, have runners at 2nd and 3rd. The infield will draw in at the corners, play about halfway up the middle, and Force a little walk off the mound. Cecil Cooper lined a single sharply to right center, his first time up. For the top 3 in this batting order, they've been on base in this game already 4 out of 5 times, and they were on 24 times the first 4 games. An average of 6. The table seems always set for the Brewers. Ball 1.
You know, Molitor and Yount have been relatively quiet before game 1. We showed you earlier, before this game, they had 14 hits. Well, they got 9 of those 14 in game number 1. So 3 games after that, they were held in check fairly well.
Cooper has 4 RBIs in the series and a home run.
Dick, just to play off your setting the table, Harvey says when they set the table, these guys, they don't set it for a meal, they set it for a feast, because they're just on and all this power they have here, and it's proven to be.
And they've got Birds perched at 2nd and 3rd here with 1 out, and Force goes to the stretch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Run will come in. Oh, what a play by Hernandez to save a base hit and another run. Oh, there's a Golden Glove at work. It's 2-1 Milwaukee, but Hernandez saved a big inning.
In the Cardinals' third, the Brewers, with excellent defense, may have saved 3 runs. Who knows how many, because the Cardinals hit the ball hard. Right here, Keith Hernandez, with an unusual position to start with, glove down to keep his body and glove low. He got a wicked hop and just picked it up like a cherry off a tree.
Ball was by him.
What a play.
Every time I see a play like that, Tony, I think of the Crow. Crossetti used to say anybody can get a good hop.
That ball was by him and had the great reactions to flag it down. That's why he's won 4 Golden Gloves for fielding excellence. Ted Simmons. Down low, ball 1. Simmons knocked in a run in an identical fashion, at least in the scorebook. First baseman unassisted, a ground ball, not quite the challenging kind of ground ball in the first inning. Yount at third, 2 out. 2-0. Now the Cardinals tied at the top of the third. Milwaukee has come back with a run to go in front 2-1 in the home half of the third inning. Pitch. Breaking ball and a strike.
Those last 2 shots, you can see what they mean. There's a new category as far as pitchers. They call them painters. And Forsch is a painter because they work on the outside or inside part of the plate. Supposedly the black part, which is the border. Just in and out, right on the outside part.
Hit to left center field. That's David Green calling. And the left fielder has it. The Brewers break the tie on a walk, a double by Yount, and the ground ball by Cooper. It's 2-1 Milwaukee. Coming up for the Cardinals, Willie McGee, Ken Oberkfell, and Tommy Herr. 2-1 Milwaukee. Amazing how that blimp can move right over County Stadium. No telling what shot it'll have next. Doing a great job up there.
Keep waiting for the Pac-Man to get him.
Tom Seaver, your comments, and Mike Caldwell.
You know, Dick, ever since the radar gun came out to measure velocity, we talked about the guys that can throw 95 and 98 miles an hour. But here's Mike Caldwell. Pitched a superb game over in St. Louis, and on the radar gun over there, they never got him higher than 83 on his fastball. But what he did over there and what he seems to be doing today is not only throwing the fastball and the changeup, but changing speeds on his fastball alone. Some of them 80 miles per hour, some 81, some 83. And then he throws his changeup about 74 miles an hour.
Willie McGee, tough play for Molitor. And there's one away. With McGee's speed, Molitor had to go for the tough hop and made it cleanly. Ken Oberkfell comes up, singled his first time up. Let's take a look at the left-handed hitter's swing.
Oberkfell, one of those guys who slaps the ball on the left side a lot. And off of Caldwell, he'll probably try and do it even more.
Oberkfell in the series, 4 hits in 13 at bats. Make that 5 for 13, so he at the moment is carrying the best average of any Cardinal hitter. And 286 overall, including the National League playoffs. 1 strike pitch. 1-1. Reset the infield for you. Molitor bang high at third, Yount at short, Gantner at second up the middle, with Cecil Cooper deep at first with a left-handed batter up. The outfield of Ogilvie, Thomas, and Moore left to right. Shade Oberkfell the other way, and he hits it to right field for a base hit. So 2 solid singles by the smooth swinging Ken Oberkfell. Oberkfell seems to like the natural turf. 321 on the season on grass fields.
Over the 162 game schedule, the Cardinals really do better statistically against right-handed pitching. One of the reasons we saw the first hitter, Dick, a left-hander, Willie McGee, goes to the right side. He can't get as good a jump out of the box. You negate their running speed. They were 30-24, 6 games above 500 versus left-handers. Much better against right-handed pitchers.
Caldwell with the tying run at first, 1 out, and a punched foul off to the right off Herr. 3 switch hitters in the bottom 4 spots in the Cardinal batting order. McGee hitting 6th, Herr 8th, and Smith 9th.
He just punches that ball, and you got to be alive for a play. And just as a oddity, he wears that protective shin guard, I guess you'd call it, on his back leg. Look at it as you take a look at that shot.
Oberkfell stays, and the pitch is high. That was an interesting statistic, wasn't it? The Cardinals are not hitting 200 yet in this World Series, and Milwaukee almost 300.
If I'm catching Dick, and I don't know why, as we look at that shin guard protecting that, he beats the ball off. I've got to pitch out right here.
It's on the wrong foot. Usually it's on the front foot for a ball that's fouled off. This is on his back foot. You don't foul many balls off your back foot.
He does. Obviously.
Very, very unusual. There are Vic Wirtz and Ted Williams.
It's always the front foot, right?
On the front foot.
I'd have to pitch out.
One ball, one strike. Now he's got a situation 1-1 where he could afford to waste a pitch. Let's see.
Yep. Tells you nothing's happening as far as the pitcher and catcher. 9 out of 10. We disagree.
I disagree.
You want the pitcher to throw the ball.
I don't agree he's going to pitch out. But I don't see any reason why just because he throw over, he can't pitch out.
You don't want him. I say when you got a pitch out on, you want the runner to run. So why throw over there? You're just holding for me.
Ground ball. Gander. Oh! He's bobbles it, and Oberkfell elects to go back to second. He took a big turn and scampered back. So an error by Gantner. He had a possible double play ball.
And you can almost see Jimmy Gantner knowing the team speed of this Cardinals and her speed, almost trying to jump into action and pivot. See where those feet go. Feet start moving, momentum starts swirling to get the throw off to Robin Yount, and he may have lifted the glove, taken his eye off the ball. So again, once the Cardinals' speed has a little bit to do with these kinds of plays, you hurry him a little bit. Oberkfell very alertly says, I'm going to keep on going. He picked up the ball himself. If it had rolled farther, he'd have gone all the way to third.
So the Cardinals down 2-1, have 2 men on and only 1 out in the 4th inning, and Ozzie Smith the batter. He hit a shot back through the middle that was deflected by Caldwell, and Gantner threw him out the last time up. Could well have been a base hit. 7 hits already for the St. Louis Cardinals. There's 3 for Milwaukee, but the Brewers lead where it counts in that run column. 2-1. Tying run at second. Oberkfell, Herb runs well at first base.
Ozzie Smith, the first time up anyway, when he lined hard off Caldwell's glove, looks like he's trying to hit Caldwell the other way. And Caldwell keeps throwing that breaking pitch down and in, wanting him to pull it. So that's the constant battle that goes on between pitcher and catcher.
The only outfielder playing Smith with respect is Ogilvie in left. He's back a couple of steps. Thomas in center and Moore in right. Medium to shallow. 2-1.
Thomas straight away in center. There's some teams when Smith hits from the right side, you can play him over toward right center field. So apparently the pitching pattern is try and force him to pull the ball from the right-hand side.
Three and 1, missing outside, and on deck the leadoff man Lonnie Smith. Ozzie Smith hits a bit better for average from the right side, and there's Lonnie. He's hit the ball hard both times up. Molitor gets 1 out there. Double play.
Can be erratic, but he's played 4 different positions over the last 5 years, including second, short, center field, right field. That makes 5, really. Makes a nice play.
So the Cardinals continue to hit, but fail to score, and Milwaukee leads 2-1 coming up in the 4th.
Hertz, the #1 rent-a-car company.
Bellowing call. Maybe we can pick him up before this game's over.
I wonder if Dutch Renner, he bellows more than anybody, can hear him in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. That's just 90 miles away where he lives.
And I'll give you one at the top, and I saw him in the ballpark, Al Barlick. Old Al hell could boom it out. You'd hear him back to Springfield.
Sharp ground ball. Ogilvie has the 4th hit for the Brewers.
One of the pretty good low ball hitters, Ogilvie, and he just got that top spin with that great bat speed. The ball jumps off his bat, and it seemed to pick up speed with an overspin. Herr just couldn't get to it. I wonder if Herr, with a healthy knee, may have to have surgery after the season, would have gotten that. He's cut down the stride.
Alan Thomas, fairness to him, that 129 batting average in postseason play. But remember, he's been playing on a bad knee, just refused to take himself out of the lineup, and was denied a home run last time up only because the wind blowing straight in from center. Outfield very deep and toward left. Foul back. They booed Thomas yesterday when he popped up to the catcher Porter 2 consecutive times, and the Milwaukee players were stunned. They said they couldn't believe that these fans who have been so loyal were booing Thomas for all he's done, and knowing that he's been playing hurt, Thomas said, heck, didn't bother me, but it must down deep.
He said they were booing for him because they were disgusted just like he was. They're in the batter's box with me, so they felt badly.
Well, that's trying to bring some sunshine into a cloudy comment, and that's the kind of guy he is. They said Molitor, when he had his 5 hits in St. Louis, they said, are you the #1 star in Milwaukee? He said, no. Pete Vukovich and Gorman Thomas, that's the Milwaukee kind of guy. That's the Brewer fans applaud. 1-2. They said, who is the #1 man in Milwaukee? He said, oh, that's easy. Al McGuire. A chance to have dinner with Al last night. The coach is gearing up for the basketball season. Some great halftime shows, and his sagacity flowed freely again last night. You can learn a lot from that man.
They continue to feed Gorman Thomas hard stuff. Gerald Porter was saying they think that he hits most of his home runs off speed or bad hanging breaking pitches. So they're going hard slider and fastball to this point anyway.
That was a hard slider. It's 2-2.
One of the scouting reports I saw, Tony, said that the Milwaukee club, all pitchers make mistakes, and the Milwaukee club hits mistakes better than any club going.
I don't think it's a secret that more home runs are hit off bad breaking balls than any other pitch. The hangers.
2-2. No one out. Ogilvie at first, and it goes to 3-2.
Well, you've got a man who strikes out a lot, and Gorman Thomas at the plate. 3-2, nobody out. Ogilvie on first. It would be dangerous for Harvey to start it, but Gorman Thomas has this Harvey Keene stance that he got the base hit on yesterday. He spreads out and just tries to peck away and make contact. Let's see what Harvey decides.
I would think he's holding, Tony, with Ogilvie also hurt. Going.
And that's an easy double play. Thomas, who struck out 143 times during the course of the season, strikes out into a double play, and there's 2 gone in the 4th.
That might have been a breaking pitch. Slider? Let me check with our experts over there. Tommy sitting in the next booth, and Paul Moscow. Yep, they give us the sign. It's a breaking ball, 3-2. He chased. It's just no contest.
So the Cardinals, a key double play to quiet this Milwaukee crowd for the moment. Here's Don Money. He went around, says the plate umpire Davidson.
I think that's a tip-off of the kind of pitcher, really, that Bob Forsch is. With the runner going, he kind of needed a strikeout, he thought, or a pop-up, and he got the strikeout the first one of the ball game for him.
You know, there's no game like baseball where you can play wonder what would have happened if, and that's where the fans have to be playing now. If he takes that pitch, it's ball 4, 2 on, no one out, but you're not up there with a bat in your hand either. Slapped toward the first base seats and out of play. In fact, all the writers, they were playing that what would have happened if yesterday if Suter had come in.
What a place for a honeymoon. The young lady was married today. The husband said, I want to go to the ball game. She said, ball game? Great way to start. She had to agree, or that marriage would have lasted 20 minutes. There he is.
So you see Polish weddings all over this town.
At the ballpark.
My people.
One ball and 2 strikes. Now, that was our baseball fans. I tell you, right now, Scott, if they're planning on having a family, should get right close to that group. That son, if they have one, will have to love the game. And Money takes the breaking ball, strike 3. So Bob Forrest, with a couple of key strikeouts, one into a double play, is through with his work in the 4th inning. No runs, a hit, no one left in the top of the 5th inning for St. Louis. It'll be the top of the order. Lonnie Smith, David Green, and Keith Hernandez. 2-1 Milwaukee. 1-1. And Davidson barks out strike 2.
As you watch this game, watch Simmons behind the plate. Always a good low target. No pitcher ever looks real wild when he's behind the plate. He gives the umpire a good look when he catches the ball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So important, and the catchers get so little credit for the fact the ones that are the real good receivers, the pitchers like to work too. Check swing foul. A lot of catchers, they go for 4 and they take it out on their pitcher. They're worried about their batting average, and then there are catchers unselfishly. Really, their #1 priority is to make that pitcher comfortable.
Some catchers will make a pitcher look wild by jumping around back there. Simmons is one of those guys. Campy was great at that. He just kind of caught the ball and cradled it.
2-2 pitch. And the count is full.
The man Herzog wants to get on base. That's where he put him in the leadoff spot today in number 5. Get something going. Move some runners.
Hit the right center. Charlie Moore. Speaking of catchers, some of them wind up in right field.
Ball is slicing toward him. You mentioned a while ago, Dick Enberg, that the catch that Thomas almost made reminded you of Swoboda. How about this one? Same spot in the diamond, right field, sinking line drive. The Mets here. What an outstanding play by Moore. He is to the point now, in my book, when I've seen him a lot lately, where I might rate him the #1 or among the number 1 or 3 in right field.
1 or 8.
1 through 3, really. And I'm talking about a tie now, these guys, because Evans still is the best in my mind.
That's a strong statement. Charlie Moore, who was shown in the playoffs, his great throwing arm, his ability to charge the ball, and that he can go to the ball. He cut the angle perfectly and made a perfect backhanded diving stab. That may be the outstanding defensive play for and out in this series. Smith has made some great moves at short, but some of those didn't lead to a put on. David Green and the Cardinals have to be talking to themselves. 7 hits and some great defensive plays behind Caldwell.
5 good plays so far by the Brewers.
That could be 12 hits. How many runs might that equal? Instead, it's 2-1 Milwaukee. 3 hits in 9 innings, game 1, and his 10-0 shutout.
Hit his foot. Hit his foot, and Caldwell didn't come off the field. And now the third base umpire, Bill Haller's saying no play. As far as I see, now they're going to talk it over. But Caldwell didn't even bounce off because he hit that sinking fastball, pitched down low inside the strike zone off his front foot.
He checked for the shoe polish, much like Nippy Jones's play right in this ballpark.
Wait a second there. Herzog's coming out, and there's a replay.
Didn't hit his foot. I don't think it hit his foot on that shot.
Bounded near his foot. Green is coming back, and now Herzog is coming out to argue the call. You know, really, there's a little difference from 57 and this, because I don't think they use shoe polish on these, almost like a plastic-coated shoe. Well, that you couldn't find any evidence in most cases today.
That replay, it didn't look like it. I thought it hit,
the way it bounced, it had to hit something.
Might have hit the front lip of home plate.
Watch his cap of his foot. Watch this. Down.
I don't think so.
I'll tell you. Boom. You can see the dirt pop up. This angle may show it better.
Hard to tell, but it appears that it's nothing but dirt there.
So I don't think it hit his shoe.
If it hit, Haller's got better eyes than their cameras.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, it took a bounce, the kind of bounce that usually results from a ball being hit off the front foot. But the way Green ran to first base, there was no doubt in his mind. He thought that that was just an infield topper all the way.
There was no doubt in Caldwell's mind that it hit because he never broke off the mound to feel it.
Well, Green swings away and hits it to Gorman Thomas.
Might just add, too, that Green never argued on the play, and he would be the best to know. If it hit him on the bunion, you'd think he'd be hopping around.
Maybe he figured he'd rather just swing away. He might hit a long one. Well, 2 gone. And Keith Hernandez. Well, for a while, Hernandez was concerned about being on that list of great players in World Series action that just can't buy a hit. And of course, of late, there have been some outstanding names that just have had their troubles getting a base hit in World Series play. But Keith is 2 for 2 today.
Nippy Jones had one here. Cleon Jones had one in '69 where Gil Hodges went out. So we've had a couple of those.
Two balls, no strikes.
Nippy Jones was awarded first base. Didn't come off his bat like a hit batsman and ended up
Hit by ball.
maybe costing the Yankees a ball game. Maybe.
But you're right, they don't use shoe polish. I know one guy got thrown out because he said a shoe, and when the umpire looked at it, it was a white shoe, so there was no evidence.
Let's go back to that graphic, if we may, as the count goes 3-0 on Hernandez. Just recently, look at Eddie Murray. Remember, he went for an 0 for 21 slump at the end of that '79 series. Willie Wilson had his troubles. Winfield had only a single in 21 at-bats last year. Hernandez was 0 for 15 going into today's play. All outstanding players, and it happened to Gil Hodges in '52 went 0 for 21. The record is held by Del Maxfield, 0 for 22, but Maxfield did his job with a glove. Hernandez 3 for 3 aboard today, a single, double, and a walk. That's the first base on balls from Caldwell.
Joe, you brought up the point yesterday when you saw Hernandez go over to the Cardinals box and talk to the Hall of Famer Stan Musial. I asked him today, what did you do? He said, I didn't get a hitting tip. I told Stan we'd hit and run on the first pitch. Said he looked like he wanted to talk to me, so I walked over and told him what's happening.
George Hendrick ground out and an infield hit. Two out is a steal situation, but Hernandez is not a serious threat. He'll pick a spot occasionally. So with Caldwell's move, it's unlikely. Popped up, could be a play. Cooper. Well, that wind will take it out.
A little different than yesterday, Dick, when that wind was blowing out to center field or right, where the foul ball flew back into fair territory from 3 rows in.
Wind is blowing toward the left field corner from center field toward left. Center field in or a slight angle toward the foul pole. Might aid a ball pulled right down the left field line. 1-1. One thing about this series, the early lead has not necessarily meant victory. There you see the RBI leaders and George Hendrick right there with Murphy, Oliver, and Buckner in the National League. He's led the Cardinals, has Hendrick, last 3 years in runs batted in and home runs, and fouls this away. It's been kind of interesting that Milwaukee won that first game big 10-0, had a lead 3-0, and then Whitey Herzog's team chipped away and got a bases loaded walk to win it. Then they came here to the Cardinals and they won rather easily behind good pitching Friday night 6-2, and then they had the lead yesterday 5-1, and then the little things, the error, the check swing single by Yount, and Milwaukee was the team that came from behind to tie the series. Right center, Moore, and Thomas makes the catch in an inning that featured Moore's great defensive play.
Well, we talked about Cleon Jones. We've got a Fall Classic flashback to take a look at it.
The Orioles are leading 3-0 as Dave McNally prepares to pitch to Cleon Jones. Here it is.
Umpire Lou DeMuro calls it a ball. But Jones, backed up by manager Gil Hodges, claims he was hit by the pitch. Just look at the ball. There's shoe polish on it. And he's awarded first base. Tell him about it, Pearlie Mae.
Oh, he hit him. How wonderful. Amazing. It's amazing.
Plays. Few outstanding plays.
Moore trying to go to right field. He lined to short his first time up. Pesky hitter. Not a real big man for a receiver. And he was getting tired of not playing, especially since they acquired Simmons. Asked to be traded. Instead, they made a right fielder out of him. Everyone's happy now. Good breaking ball.
They really went into spring training in Arizona with the man they called the Babe, Mark Brohard, scheduled to be their right fielder, and he just beat him out of the job. There's Gantner on deck.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and two. On this date in World Series history, 1974, the Oakland A's made it 3 in a row when Joe Rudy hit a home run off Mike Marshall. Dr. Mike Marshall was our guest on the pregame show. The A's won it in 5 over the Dodgers. Rip foul. Sarcastic foul into the corner.
Remember that? I guess there was a controversial call in that World Series. Mike Marshall still on the mound, did not throw a pitch.
No, it wasn't a call. It was the fans raising a lot of fuss about a 7-8 minute delay. Remember, out in right field? And
he just stood on the mound, refused to take a pitch, and he threw one and popped.
Rudy said he's got to throw me a fastball if he's not going to warm up. Guessed fastball and hit it into the left field seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Moore leading off the Brewer 5th. A tight 2-1 Milwaukee lead. Foul back. Well, yesterday, gentlemen, it seemed early that the Cardinals got all the breaks and Milwaukee saved theirs for the 7th inning and got 6 runs and won it. Certainly today, in the first half of the game, the breaks have been for the Brewers, and defensively, when you figure 5 fine defensive plays, the Cardinals have 7 hits. That would be 12 possible hits. St. Louis with only 1 run. You wonder if it'll turn around St. Louis' way.
One of the unlooked dimensions of the Brewers coming into this World Series. Defense.
Line fair, just out of the reach of Oberkfell, and Moore on his way for a double.
Might have been another hanging breaking ball. Once again, Oberkfell with a nice try. David Green has played 2 balls in the corner very well. 2 caroms that can be tough. Held them into doubles. Now, some way, Gantner is about as good as I've seen on this ball club, or maybe the American League, on getting that runner over. He'll try and pull the ball. If not, he drags the ball out in this situation on his own.
Well, that's the play to try to get that man to third. Breaking score on an out.
If he drags, Hernandez will take a shot to third. He is creeping in. Hernandez is coming. Daring him to hit a by him. Oh, my.
That is really something to watch. Hernandez just daring him to hit that ball towards him. That's why the guy is rated so highly as a defensive player. He's challenging the hitter.
See if he does it on this pitch now.
Last pitch, he came in on the grass. He was only about 70 feet from home plate. Here he comes. No. 2-0. He didn't do it that time because Gantner didn't show bunt. Now with 2-0, Gantner can do about anything he wants. Harry Warner relaying the signs from Harvey Keene. What do you think, Tony?
I think he's swinging away, but he's got one thing he's got to do, and that's pull the ball. Take a chance of a base hit. You can get it on the ground. You at least got him over. If it goes through, you got an RBI.
There he did it. And out to second, but he advanced the runner to third. And they'll congratulate Gantner in the dugout. He got his job done.
It's an 0 for 1 in your scorebook.
Before the game, Harvey Keene was talking about that to the writers. He was hoping that they would switch the scoring rules and call that a sacrifice when a man deliberately does that.
Paul Molitor.
Infield now, Dick, halfway in the middle of the diamond and all the way in at the corners.
Yeah, the plays at the plate to try to choke off that third Milwaukee run. Molitor has flied to center and walked and scored. That run becoming the go-ahead 2-1 run in the third inning. Working from the stretch. Keeps that runner closer to third. Molitor, good power.
And a good bunter.
And a good bunter. That's a nice combination. That was a safety squeeze.
Bullpen's gotten going for the Cardinals now. Many times that squeeze play is a verbal signal.
Steve Mura, John Martin, left-hander in the Cardinal bullpen. Neither man has appeared in this World Series. Strike the count as this collegiate style crowd chants, "Here we go, Brewers, here we go." Base hit, and the Brewers lead 3-1. Red Shandine, Sub Kittle, Whitey Herzog. Number 19, of course, is Robin Yount, and he's delivered a double and a single, 2 for 2 today. And the man at first likes to run, 41 steals out of 50 tries. Ball 1 to Yount. Yount with 9 hits now in the series. 4 shy of the all-time record. Molitor with his 8th hit at first base.
Got the spot. Straight steal, hit and run and hit. We got the combination, the count, the lead by 2.
Ball 2, and now with a 2-0 count, you can give Yount a chance to work with that bat.
Forsch, remember how he did it last time. Let's see if there's any difference in him. He gets that sign. Once he's got it, he'll kind of peekaboo look. There he is.
Fair ball. Tough play now. Doesn't get him.
So, I guess turnabout is fair play. Oberkfell respecting the speed of Yount. Comes in a little bit. Yount shows his speed down to first. After he smacked it down, he's been given a hit. Would have been a tough play right down the line. If nothing else, Oberkfell prevented a double in the corner. But with Molitor's speed, he might have come all the way home, and Yount would assuredly have been at second base. So it's a nice stop.
So runners at first and second, still but 1 out in the Milwaukee 5th inning, and Cecil Cooper steps in. He singled to right and knocked in a run with a ground ball to first. That was that play where Hernandez made the sensational high flagging stop on a bad hop. The table is set again. And a high fly to shallow right. Hendrick. Boy, it was as if a giant baton was waved in this crowd when they saw the ball is catchable. Just silence. 2 away. By the way, Robin Yount with that hit, 3 for 3, now has 10 hits in the 5 games of this series. Richardson and Brock hold the record of 13.
Those are the 2 guys who gave Force trouble in the first game he pitched. Molitor and Yount.
Ted Simmons homered off his former battery mate Force. in game 1 in St. Louis. He is not going to run with a ground out and fly to left.
Watch at second base where Molitor is. He's not in a straight line between second and third. He's out toward the outfield side. 1, to make Ozzie Smith and a pickoff attempt go way around him. Number 2, on a base hit to get a better angle at the back there so he can cut it more sharply. He eliminates that loop around third base.
1 ball, no strikes. 2 on, 1 out. A run home. You go round no, says the third base umpire Haller.
He just missed with 2 breaking balls as we see Bill Haller, and you got to believe that Simmons now is looking for the fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. This is a tough spot for Forsch. Simmons is a good cripple shooter. If he gets a fastball, you're going to see a pretty good swing.
Ozzie's creeping behind him now, trying to get a better angle on Molitor at second base for a pickup. There's the daylight. So just what we told you about earlier, the pickoff attempt.
Ball 3. With runners at first and second, and familiar faces for Forsch. Unfortunately for him, Molitor at second, Young at first. Just totaling it up and following on your point, Tony Kubek. Against Forsch, Molitor and Yount in 2 games are a combined 10 for 13.
Got the green light. Harvey turns him loose, 3-0.
And you know he's sitting on a fastball, hoping he might get one. Nope. He walks him, and the bases are loaded.
See now with the left-hander up, and Herzog pops out.
Ben Ogilvie has lined to center and grounded a single to center. RBI average in 5 seasons, and one of the reasons why he comes to the plate in situations like this.
You wonder with a younger pitcher out there, if Kittle or Herzog wouldn't have come out for at least a conference. A veteran like Forsch, because he knows what to do.
Infield looking for a double play up the middle, and a foul back. I'll check that. There are 2 outs. That wouldn't quite work, would it, a double play here? They'll save that for another inning. Lynette Ogilvie following the action, undoubtedly listening to the radio account of this World Series and cheering for Ben, who has hit 156 of his nearly 200 career home runs left-handed. This is his against right-handed pitching, not left-handed pitching. Listen to this crowd. They want a big one.
Remarking about the crowd, he said, what's the difference where you sit? You can have the best seat in the house. You're always on your feet anyhow. They're always standing rooting for their ball club. They really back these Brewers.
With the count 2 strikes, Porter's going to go out and talk with Forsch, make sure that this next spot is the one he wants to hit, and with the right pitch.
You can read his lips there almost, Joe, about coming off the ball. In other words, he may be pulling off, trying to open up in a hurry to get out in front of a slider fastball. So if you take that one step further, they may try and run the ball away outside on him. And let's see what they decide.
He also was talking about moving him off the plate. He was getting the final decision from Forsch, and in the bringing Smith in there, they've obviously switched signs. So a lot going on in just that short conference.
A critical spot in this 5th inning. Forsch trailing 3-1. But with the bases loaded, the Brewers are just a hit away from breaking it wide open. And the crowd sensing just that. One and 2.
Well, at least they showed him one pitch away. Let's see if they stay there come back in.
Whitey Herzog, with his bullpen ready if needed, has elected to stay with his 15-game winner, Bob Forsch. So Forsch has lost his advantage.
Looked like he overthrew that curveball. I think the 2-strike, 1-ball count was his pitch of decision, but he can't go beyond this one.
Bases full of Brewers. Foul ball. In case you're wondering, as Ogilvie stands there, a home run hitter with the bases loaded. The last man to hit a grand slam homer, an unlikely candidate, pitcher Dave McNally, Baltimore Orioles. He turned that Oriole dugout upside down when he hit the grand slam in 1970, 12 years ago. 2-2, and here comes the crowd rooting for Ogilvie.
Sinker, and he lined it off to the left. He pitched him inside. He pulls it foul. Since he moved off the plate, when asked by Harvey Keene, he's been hitting a few more balls to left field. At one time, he's a notorious pull hitter.
Even now, he's really on top of the plate, isn't he? He's as close as any man in the series. 2-2, 2 out, bases full. Milwaukee 3, St. Louis 1. We're in the last of the 5th. He got him with a breaking ball away. So Bob Forsch does not wilt under the pressure of that bases loaded situation with a crowd roaring in Ben Ogilvie's support. 1 run on 3 hits and 3 left. Wisconsin enjoying the World Series. 2 games aside. Hope you're enjoying it with us. 3-1 Milwaukee leads after 5 innings today. Tom Siebert.
Most of the Milwaukee team feels, you know, they're the heavyweight team, the knockout team. We've touched on that. They're the big inning team. They feel if they can get this St. Louis Cardinal team down 3 or 4 runs, that the Cardinals don't have the kind of punch to come back and get them. They're the team that needs 3 or 4 hits in an inning to be able to score, whereas, you know, we talked about the other night. Boom, the Brewers can wrap 5 runs on that board inside of 3 minutes. And I know it's the feeling among those Brewer players, especially the offense, if they can get them down 3 or 4 runs, they feel they can beat them. They can hold them down because they can't fire enough big offense at you to beat you.
I think, Tom, too, with a guy like Caldwell on the mound, he's, with his control, and it's usually pretty good, he's not going to throw that base on balls in the middle of an inning either, usually.
He has walked only 1, and that was in the last inning. Darrell Porter and Willie McGee and Ken Oberkfell to bat for St. Louis in the 6th inning. The Cardinals have not exactly been fooled by Caldwell today. Had a masterful 3-hit shutout in game 1, 10-0, but they've hit the ball hard, but not in enough bunches, and trail 3-1 entering the 6th. Plus the fact Caldwell's defensive support has been outstanding. Almost as if this crowd is gathering its energy and breath, waiting for the bottom half of the inning. Suddenly very quiet. 1-1. Both teams with scoring opportunities, much more than the account would indicate. 3-1 the score. Foul back. That goes up over our heads.
Dick, I think if there's one thing among a lot of others that both these teams have shown at this point, I guess it happens, and every team who gets in the World Series has to have it. It's resiliency. They've both been behind. There's Willie McGee on deck, and they've both shown ability to come back. And anybody who has written or said that these teams look dead out there at time, it comes from confidence. They know they can come from behind. More difficult, as Tom said, for the Cardinals.
But both have shown that they can do it in this series. Big comeback by Milwaukee yesterday, down 5-1 in the 7th. Porter goes down swinging. For Caldwell, his first strikeout since the first inning.
Milwaukee had the Cardinals down 3-0 in game 2. Long way to go.
Willie McGee. Although this sensational rookie is 0 for 2 today, he's continued to impress. He's made good contact. 2 home runs on Friday night to spark the Cardinals to the victory. This came left-handed. It's a cool late afternoon, but Caldwell working without a sweatshirt, and McGee sends a single to right. It's light rain, drizzle falling now at County Stadium. It's typical of this area. You'll get a little shower come through. I don't think it's a serious rain. A cloud will bring a little moisture and it'll pass along.
We're just a few degrees above a little snow here, and I caught one snowflake on my coat before the game started. Just a little tiny one, but there was a little snowflake.
I like an eagle to pick a snowflake. Oberkfell. He's picked on Caldwell pitches. 2 solid line drive singles today. Represents the tying run. Strike ball.
That's the Simmons philosophy with Caldwell. With a base stealer on base, you don't have to throw over, but throw that first pitch for a strike. Get that hitter in the hole, so he can't swing and protect that base stealer.
McGee taking a lead against a pitcher with an excellent move. Now there he hardly stopped. Boy, he just came right halfway through the stretch to the plate, and it's 1-1.
American League umpire Jim Evans at first base watching him closely.
McGee stealing 24 bases during the course of the year and improved as the season wore on, was 17 out of the last 21. We've seen Whitey throughout the series. He'll run at any time, ahead or behind.
See the lead that McGee just took? That's the lead that Casey Stengel used to teach. That Herzog has taught McGee. Don't cross your feet. They can throw behind you and pick you off. Whitey has said this kid is still a diamond in the rough. Tremendous potential, as we've seen, but he still has a lot to learn.
One out. Caldwell focusing a lot of attention on McGee. Oberkfell patiently waiting at the plate with a count 1 ball 1 strike. There it is. Never crossing his feet on the leadoff. Ooh. That was some move he made to the plate. It looked as if he was going to first base all the way. 1-2.
It's the first time that Caldwell has given any St. Louis Cardinal base runner or potential base stealer that look.
Gantner gets McGee. Oberkfell safe at first. So 2 out. Oberkfell on the fielder's choice safe at first base, and the batter is Tom Herr.
So by getting the lead runner, Gantner twirling around, he erases the great speed of McGee, replaces it with Oberkfell.
And a good scoop by Cooper on that throw. Caldwell now continuing to throw the ground ball outs. 11 out of 17 outs have been on the ground. That's another good sign when you're trying to play catch-up. Yount take it himself, and the inning is over. No runs, a hit, and 1 left. Middle of the 6th inning. Milwaukee 3, St. Louis 1.
I've got an
Baseman on the shortstop side of the bag.
Well, Ozzie Smith, we've shown you Robin Yount making some fine plays today. Ozzie Smith all season long in San Diego, or when he played there, or St. Louis. See how he gets ready. You can see the anticipation, a little jump to the right. Breaking ball, he looked from his spot, the location, It is given by the catcher. The pitch, change up, fastball, slider, and then see the angle of the ball off the bat. Anticipation.
There, that's a base hit. Normally, but Herr has it go off his chest. Safe on an error is Thomas. That ball right up the middle, but Herr, the second baseman, playing on the shortstop side of the bag. He's unhappy with himself.
A hop on dirt and grass is a little bit tougher to read than a hop on artificial surface, and that is the toughest one. It's a tremendous camera angle because the toughest play, many say for an infielder, is the one hit right at you. You cannot see the bounce. You have no perspective. You get a side view, you can see it bounding along, and that was just an excellent shot by Harry Carl from that left center field camera.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the outfielders say the same thing. The toughest ball is the one hit straight over your head because you don't have that angle look. Don Money. Ooh, a good backhanded stop by Porter. Joe, you've got to be impressed with Porter in this series. The way he's made a lot of tough chances. He's saved 4 or 5 wild pitches.
Both catchers have looked good in this series, Dick, and both catchers kind of came in with a dubious reputation, saying there was a little bit of a break in the armor. It was behind the plate, but I think Porter and Simmons both have done a good job.
I think we said that in the first game, that people who say they're looking for the strongest arm, well, you get Parrish and Carter is what you do from the respective leagues, but throwing is not all that is a part of catching.
1 ball the count.
Hit and run with Hernandez charging, looking for a bunt.
And that really opened up the right side, and Money was trying to aim in that direction.
I have heard infielders coming in like that literally scream when the guy starts to swing. Watch Hernandez break. Now he thinks it's a bunt, and all of a sudden that big bat starts. It looks like a telegraph pole coming at you.
Not much room to react there.
Of course, you'll have to watch now, because what they may try is Hernandez fake like he's coming in with a count play, a pickoff play, then go back and try the pickoff. There it is.
Kobeck, you have been outstanding. You're getting the game plans beforehand. You must. You predicted a lot of moments just like this. There it is.
Al McGuire and I hang around an awful lot.
That was the other fellow at the table. It was you. Strike 2, and it's 1-2 on Money. Don Money is grounded hard to short, and he's struck out. The infield is looking for a double play to bail 4 shot of the 6th inning. 3-1, the Brewers lead. Gorman Thomas safe on Herr's error. Breaking ball, and apparently Money got a piece of it. 1-2. You see that little flap off the mask of Darrell Porter. A lot of you folks don't watch baseball each and every day of the year, as some of you do. That started the Dodgers. Steve Yeager, I guess, was about the first to use it. A plastic device on a foul tip that'll absorb a ball that would be aimed at your throat. That's an unprotected area, the Adam's apple, and of course very painful, and that's been a good device.
Bill Bueller designed it, the team trainer. He designed it after Bill Russell's bat was shattered and Yeager was in the on-deck circle and hit him right in the throat. They designed it to protect that area.
Oberkfell to Herr. Good catch by Herr, and he turns a double play. And Thomas may be hurt. He's playing on that bang knee. He's okay.
Oberkfell, nice play to his left, looks it in his glove, knows he has time, and then he throws a sinker. And allowing Gorman Thomas to get a couple of extra steps, and he hit the bag very hard. You had a good example, and we showed it earlier with Ozzie Smith, why a second baseman or shortstop should stay as close to that bag, which is anchored now, because a runner doesn't like to slide into it. Gorman Thomas just did.
Let's see that again. Joe, you had a comment.
Well, I was just going to say the only protection he's got, and Herr knew he was going to get taken out of that play. He used that bag very well.
Charlie Moore cutting loose and missing with 2 out now, and the base is empty.
Anytime you got a runner coming at you, you have to go for protection. A catcher can give a runner a shin guard sandwich at home plate, but an infielder can't, and he's got to use that bag, and he did.
Foul back. Well, Herr, who made the error, certainly redeemed himself on that play because he handled a very tough throw on the bag that gets him down into the runner, and he had to skip, do that little ballet work, and make still an accurate throw to first base, all with a finger that's been bothering him. You can see the tape on it.
He's got some cartilage damage or ligament damage in that finger.
That's the kind of a throw you make when you want to get even with your infielder.
That's right. He's liable to wind up in left center field with a guy like Thomas bearing down on him. 2 strikes on Moore, who has a double and a line out to short today. Oberk fell to Hernandez, and that's it for the Brewers in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, and error, no one left. We've completed 6 innings. County Stadium in Milwaukee. Gorman Thomas trying to keep the 6th inning alive, but Hers fine play, and it remains 3-1. Strike 1. And then in the 3rd inning, bottom half, Milwaukee went back in front 2-1. A walk to Molitor, double by Yount, and a ground out by Cooper. They made it 3-1 in the 5th inning. A double by Moore and an RBI single by Molitor.
Caldwell just did it again. Didn't throw over. First pitch, bam, the head of the hitter.
Ozzie at first, Lonnie at the plate. Smith brothers trying to ignite a Cardinal rally in the top of the 7th.
And Caldwell has consistently had Cardinal base runners on first base, leaning back toward first base as he goes home. They just cannot read him to this point. They may have to guess.
Excuse me, Tony. Harvey Keene, his pitching coaches Cal McClish and Pat Dobson, they have someone warming up in the bullpen. Base hit to right field. And Ozzie Smith moves into second base. He had to hesitate to make sure that ball was going to drop, and with no one out, wasn't going to take any chances. So the first 2 men are on in the Cardinals 7th. Smith's second hit, Lonnie's second hit of the game. And with no one out, we'll see the strategy employed by Herzog. Will he bunt them up, and in turn, will Harvey Keene start looking for a relief pitcher?
Well, what you're looking at is if he bunts them over to second and third, you'd have Hernandez facing a left-handed pitcher. That's what Whitey Herzog would be looking at, but Hernandez is swinging the bat well. David Green, very tough to double up. I'm just guessing like we always do up here, but I think he's going to hit away. Let's see. Cooper's not thinking that way, nor is Molitor. They're coming in.
I would, you know, we disagree once in a while, Tony.
I think that's healthy.
I'd be looking for a bunt right here because I think he's got to move him up. He can't afford not to move him up.
Bob McClure and Jim Slayton are throwing in the bullpen for Milwaukee. Wasn't going to bunt on that first delivery.
The infielders are still in. Now Molitor's going to go in and talk to him because they're both in on the grass. He was swinging away.
You know, they do try some trick plays that Sal Bando will call from the bench, as he did when he played for Oakland. And they're just trying to get the signals in the event of a bunt. In fact, during one of the games against Baltimore, the same situation. Molitor charged hard and muffed the ball and led to the bases loaded.
They're in.
And he popped it up into shallow center. Gorman, Thomas, and Moore, they're both calling. And the center fielder has the right of way. If he's calling, you back off, and he makes the catch.
Now Hersey, with that strategy, may turn to something else. Left-handed hitter. There are times when he will give double steals, even though he's 2 run down. We've said before, he lives by the sword and he's died by it. Earlier this game, Smith tried to steal third with a left-hander up, was caught stealing. Will he try it again? You just don't know that man. He knows he has got to generate some runs, and that is their best way. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you can't overlook it if you're playing against this kind of team.
Hernandez, a lifetime .299 hitter, but 0 for 15 prior to today, and he's broken out with a line single to right and a line double to left center that drove in the Cardinals' only run. He has also walked. Time. Apparently Hernandez called time, had been staring at Caldwell a bit too much, and played umpire Satch Davidson at a very critical point gave Hernandez the benefit of the doubt. He does not have to give him time. The Smiths are on. Ozzie at second, Lonnie at first. One out. Cooper may have a double play. No, safe, and here comes the, almost. Ozzie was bluffing down the line as if he was going to come to the plate. Caldwell covering, but the speed of Hernandez just beating the relay.
I'll tell you what else, Dick. The speed of Lonnie Smith off first base put enough pressure on Robin. He really tears him up down there. Watch this. Robin thinks he's got the sure double play, enough to pressure him, flip him over, and a great play by Caldwell keeping that ball from going into the dugout. What pressure put on by Lonnie Smith, Joe.
Tremendous plays here. Smith, Hernandez is running very hard, as you can well see, and Caldwell, just a fantastic play. He simply saved himself a run.
He made a fantastic play, as you see Smith, but shouldn't Caldwell have been there a bit sooner? Had he been to the bag, they could have gotten a double play.
I don't think it's unlike that. A left-handed pitcher falling off toward third base. But Hernandez continues to hit in tough luck. He hit that ball like a shot.
So first and third, 2 out to Hendrick, and he pops it down the right field line. Moore
popped out of his glove. Hit the glove and popped out, but what a try. The wind pushing it away from him.
He found that fence in a hurry. That was a tremendous effort by Charlie Moore. He's a little disappointed because he thinks he can catch anything that stays in the park. But watch him come hard. He found that fence in a hurry, and he just went all out. He about had it.
Yeah, you know, running as hard as you are, he knows the area, and it was about to run into a lot of metal, plus all those fans as a distraction.
And no fan interference, as there was on the ball Boone hit and Ogilvie. They didn't call it there. It was ruled a home run by Barnett, but this actually hit his glove. The fans were reaching out to the playing field. That's fair game.
Hendrick. The cleanup man is 1 for 3 today. A big spot for St. Louis, trailing 3-1, 2 out. Turn that one over, send it outside, 1-1. Ozzie Smith at third, the tying run, Keith Hernandez at first. Hendrick with Porter on the hole, on deck. McGee in the hole. 2-1 on Hendrick. He's a man who likes this spot. The last 3 years in the National League, only Mike Schmidt has knocked in more runs than George Hendrick. Two balls and a strike.
Good hitter's pitch.
Up the middle, base hit. Ozzie Smith scores. Hernandez will stop at second on George Hendrick's RBI single. It's 3-2.
And to Hendrick's credit, the ball was down and away. The good pitch by Call. He did not try and pull it. He did that. Remember that in Atlanta, Joe? I know what you're going to say.
That's right. Same thing, because he hits the ball right up the middle.
Ozzie Smith applauding cheerleader as he comes in from third. You got to keep your eye on the plate as well.
So Hendrick gets the RBI, but give Lonnie Smith some credit for preventing the double play with the pressure on Yount.
So the Cardinals, now trailing just 3-2, have 10 hits off Caldwell, 2 on, and Porter the batter. Right. Porter has grounded twice to second and struck out. He had that key 2-run double that turned the St. Louis fortunes around and tied the game at 4 in game 2. That was off Sutton. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dick Enberg, Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, Bob Costas, County Stadium, Milwaukee. Game 5. Each team has 2 wins, and Milwaukee hanging on by a thread. 3-2 in the 7th with 2 on, 2 out, and Darrell Porter facing Mike Caldwell. Cooper, a great stop, makes the play. Oh my!
Well, we don't know for sure, but the Brewer defense may have saved 4, 5, who knows how many runs so far with outstanding play number 6. A great play by Cooper.
So 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 men left to the stretch half of the 7th inning at County Stadium. Milwaukee fans are up and happy. They lead it 3-2.
Well, he just prevents a tying run, 1st and 3rd. And watch how difficult this is. He is shielded right there from the ball by Hendricks' body. He actually, I think, Joe, dove in the area of the ball and then picked it up. And when the ball took a wicked hop, he still adjusted his glove and threw from down there as Caldwell got over in a hurry. What might have been again for the Cardinals, 1st and 3rd, tie ball game.
It remains 3-2. Bottom of the 7th. Here's Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Dick, this is Jim Gantner, and the first pitch is low, ball 1. Tony, we've said it so much. That fellow Cooper is just one of the most underrated, underpublicized players in the game. And when they talk about him, they mostly talk about his hitting, but we have seen throughout the year, and especially in this series, what a great job he does with the glove. Just a couple tremendous plays in this series by Cecil Cooper. And it's ball 2, and there is Bruce Sutter, loosening up for St. Louis.
Unusual to get up, for him to get up when the team is behind. Usually when it's tied or the Cardinals have a 1 or 2 or 3 run lead, he will get up. It's a short series, now down to 2 of 3.
And they have a day off tomorrow. Even if he does use Sutter, he has a day's rest.
Foul ball down the first baseline, 2 balls and a strike. Gantner popped to the shortstop and then hit a ground ball, it looks like, on your scorecard, but it was more than a ground ball because he hit it with Moore at second base, moved him over to third where he scored on a base hit by Molitor. So he's 0 for 2, but he was very instrumental in manufacturing that 3rd Milwaukee run, and that's the difference as we look at Molitor in the on-deck circle. It's 3-2, bottom of the 7th, Milwaukee 5th. When he fakes the bunt, he pulls him in. Oberkfell is in close at 3rd. Fakes the bunt, draws them both in at 1st and 3rd. And it's ball 1. 3-2, bottom of the 7th, Milwaukee leading. There's a strike, 1-1 to count.
You go back to that first inning where the pickoff attempt with Truman on and forced through that ball into center field. Advance runners to 2nd and 3rd. Gets a little bigger as the game goes along.
High fly ball down the line, left field, near the stands. Green is waiting, and it drifts into fair territory. Makes the play. It was close.
How do you explain that kind of drift on that ball? The wind, we have told you, is blowing 15, 20 knots from right field, but when it hits the stands, it swoops into the stands and helped that ball come back in. And that can fool an outfielder, especially a strange one like Green coming in. He's played just a few ball games in this park. But he hung with it and showed his versatility. And, talk about McGee and this guy, what they might be someday. They're what they're going to be, not what they might be.
Here's Robin Yount now. Ball 1. No player's ever had 2 4-hit games in the World Series. Yount had 4 in game 1. He's got 3 hits today.
Porsche is going to see him in his sleep tonight.
A lot of pitchers do that, I'm sure, Dick. There's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are 2 outs. Nobody on. Milwaukee leading 3-2, bottom of the 7th. Hear the crowd? MVP, MVP.
If I were a ball player, and I know that's the way Yount feels, you can chant a lot of things, but don't do that to him. I know he doesn't like it. He'd like to earn the honor, but he didn't want the fans to chant it.
Both pitchers, as of right now, have thrown 108 pitches. Well hit, right field. He's got his 4th hit, home run. Try and pull the ball. He said, you are strong enough to hit him out anywhere.
And he just showed you. Count.
Here he comes.
Cecil Cooper, low ball one. So Robin Yount has a World Series record, 2 4-hit games in Game 1 and Game 5, and there was no doubt about that when a line drive to right field. MVP voting is all over. He should win it by a landslide, but what a way to cap it off.
Well, when the Brewers lost 3 in a row to Baltimore, a doubleheader Friday night, a single game Saturday, they had to win game number 162 on Sunday. He did about the same thing on Jim Palmer. Drill one to right field early in the ball game to give the club a lift.
Well, all he's done so far in this series, 11 for 21.
High fly ball. McGee has a beat on it. Center field coming in. The wind's got it. And he makes a running catch coming towards the infield when it looked like it was going to drift way out. Robin Yount, a home run, has made it 4-2. And watch him when he steps out of the dugout. Listen to the crowd.
Throw while flat on his face. I mean, down in the dirt, doesn't matter where he is, he can still throw strikes.
2 strikes to count on McGee. It's outside, ball one.
Earlier we showed you Ozzie Smith getting ready defensively, and now he's kind of relaxed and he's barely bent. Robin Yount, a little different technique. He's a bigger guy, and watch him go down very low with that glove down and on his toes.
Strikeout.
Different style.
That is the 3rd strikeout for Caldwell. So 1 out, it brings up Oberkfell. He is 2 for 3. He singled to center field in the 2nd, singled to right in the 4th, hit into a force play.
During the regular season, Caldwell led Brewers pitchers with complete games with 12.
Base hit past Robin Yount. So Oberkfell has his 3rd base hit of the afternoon. With 1 out, he's on at first.
They left a man on base in every inning of the Cardinals. 11 hits, but only 2 runs.
Well, we'll show you what Robin Yount did on an isolate on that particular play. The crouch, the crossover step, left over right so you don't make that false start. Lunge, that's one of the differences in the style. Ozzie Smith possibly might have dove for that ball. Robin didn't, although he does dive at times. The only one I ever saw who played a great shortstop but who never dove was Belanger. And his theory, I cannot, well, you can't pronounce his theory because he was so great. He thought you could cover more ground running than you could float.
Herr bunts it down the 3rd base line, but it's foul. Strike 1. Mike Caldwell has been a dependable pitcher for the Brewers. Since July 9th, he has averaged going 8 1/3 innings per start. That's pretty impressive. Since July 9th. Originally drafted by the San Diego Padres in 1971 June free agent draft. He was 17 and 13. Mike Caldwell.
Ironically, he spent a part of the spring training camp with the Cardinals. They didn't like what they saw.
Traded him to Cincinnati.
This could be 2. There's 1. Throw. It's not in time. Play was slow in developing, and Herr, with pretty good speed, beats it out, so there are 2 outs.
Well, he makes sure he gets the lead runner. Has to flip back to Gantner. Herr got out of the box in a hurry from the right side.
There's always a lot of action around second base. He makes sure, but then Gantner's there, and he gets dumped.
So among second basemen, Gantner gets off more throws than almost anybody I've seen this year, with runners hanging all over him. Strong lower body like Mazeroski or Richardson.
Gantner has it. Nice play. Steps on the bag. The force is on. We go into the bottom of the 8th inning with the score. Milwaukee 4, St. Louis 2. And Robin Yount, big home run, his second 4-hit game.
If you have oily...
Baseball fever. Catch it. It lasts forever.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Milwaukee County Stadium as we see it from the air. And what excitement we have here at County Stadium with Milwaukee leading and Bruce Suter's on the mound, Tom.
Joe, a lot of the controversy around the dugouts today about why this man, Bruce Suter, was not used yesterday by manager Whitey Herzog. A lot of second guessing going on. Should he have come in yesterday's ball game, which was the 7th inning when the Brewers were putting together their rally? The point being, I feel, about this man right here, every time he's come in in the 7th inning. If Whitey, he did not use him yesterday, the worst he could be was 2-2. 2 wins, 2 losses in the World Series. He'd have Suter today, Sunday, an off day tomorrow, and then if the games do go to 7, he'd have him 6 and 7 on Tuesday and Wednesday. He would have him for every game, the last 3 games, a healthy Bruce Suter. Can you imagine Whitey Herzog, if this does go to 7 games, get there and not have a rested and ready Bruce Suter in the bullpen?
Good point, Tom.
Simmons takes the first pitch over for strike 1.
Of course, the argument on the other side was, hey, if you've got to win and sitting there asking to be taken, why not bring Suter in and get the 3rd win yesterday? And that was the question being asked.
Except Whitey got such good production all year long from Cott and especially Bear, and Bear was outstanding. He kept that game close when he came in. It didn't work the next time. So you can't second guess a guy because the pitcher didn't produce. And that's no shot at Bear either. He has produced all year long. Come in before this man.
2 strikes to count on Simmons. Suter bounces one all the way back to the screen, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And you might remember the pregame show with Tom Seaver and Mike Marshall. What in the world?
Somebody threw a chicken from the stands, and the ground crew
They painted it red, I
had
guess.
to come out and get it. One ball and 2 strikes on Simmons. And Simmons is out on strike, so there's 1 away. 1 out. Bruce Suter gets Simmons on strikes. It brings up Ben Oglivie. There's the man. He was subjected to a lot of questions, as you heard Tom Seaver and Dick Enberg and Tony talking about it.
And you might have heard our pregame show if you didn't. Mike Marshall, Dr. Mike Marshall, former pitcher who threw a screwball, talking to Tom Seaver about Bruce Suter's pitch, which he calls a 1-fingered screwball. And I think Tom will agree it makes some sense.
Well, remember when we showed the shot of Suter in St. Louis with a middle finger off the ball, and that's because, or at least extended after he delivered the ball. That's because that's the last pressure point, and Mike Marshall showed that so well.
1 ball and 1 strike to count.
I might add this. When the Sports Illustrated film was shown, how does anybody know that Bruce Suter wasn't decoying them too? He did. I'm telling you, he told me that he did it early in spring training, and his arm was not quite loose, and he was trying to throw a little bit of a screwball spin.
It's unhandled by her in the center field. Oglivie, a big turn around first base. He's on. A base hit for Ben Oglivie in the center field. 4-2 is the score. Bottom of the 8th.
There's her. Oglivie and the rest of the Brewers have been told that anything hit the center or left, because they are playing so deep, think double. And that's what he was thinking. So McGee came from deep center field and came on and charged the ball hard.
Here is Gorman Thomas. So far, he has flied to center field. He struck out and was safe on an error. 1 man out. Strike 1.
No matter what he throws, he is as good as there is in baseball today, if not the best.
One strike to count, one man out. 2 strikes. Gorman Thomas. These 2 ball clubs, they have really battled. Tuesday night, it'll be Don Sutton for Milwaukee, Stuper for St. Louis.
They gave up some good players to get him. Durham's going to be a big star, had a great year.
Here's the way he grips it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gorman lays off the pitch.
So to a fastball, but not in the strike zone.
Just to go back, and I know this is basic for you fellas, but my mother likes to know these things. The curveball thrown by Suter, if he threw one, would break away from the right-handed hitter Thomas. When they talk about a screwball action, it's the reverse action. Less natural, it would come back in, and that's the kind of spin he puts on the ball.
He got him on strikes. So Gorman Thomas is out on strikes. 2 outs, both strikeouts. And Don Money is the batter.
Darrell Porter, his catcher, said that all of his split-fingered fastballs do not come up with a screwball spin. And you might have heard Mike Marshall say it comes off that middle finger, but once in a while there may be some pressure from that pointing finger, and it maybe slip off that a little bit. And depending upon the release point, I guess, and then he gets a little different action.
It is a wicked pitch and so tough to read by the hitters. That's part of the success. They just, as Mike Marshall pointed out, it's because of the rotation, it looks like a fastball until it comes up there and it's like somebody took a big hammer and knocked it straight down.
Ball 1 to count. Looking ahead to the top of the 9th, Lonnie Smith, Green, and Hernandez for St. Louis. And it's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. Milwaukee 4, St. Louis 2.
See that the pitchers, this cool day allowed to blow on their hands.
And it's ball 3. Don Money taking a good look at his coach as Harvey Keene has already flashed a sign. And I think with Suter pitching, they'll turn Money loose. They turn everybody loose. We said it earlier. But those Milwaukee bats, you can tell during batting practice that they belong to Milwaukee. They're moving the minute they get off the truck. He's taken all away, and it's ball 4. Ogilvy goes to second. Money is on at first, and Charlie Moore is the batter. Moore doubled and scored in the 5th inning, line hard and short in the 2nd and bounced out.
There's one piece of advice that Cecil Cooper has given to a lot of his teammates regarding Suter. Remember, he hit the home run off Suter, and that is something he learned the 2nd time up. He said, do not watch the whole man. Try and pick up the ball, because the change of speeds fools you as much as the movement, as Mike Marshall said. And he said the 2nd time I hit off him, I did not watch all of Suter. Just tried to find that ball. Easy to say, but tough to do.
Ball 1.
That's uncharacteristic. 5 straight.
2 men out. One ball and 1 strike. Caught the outside part of the plate. Base runners. Ogilvy at second. Money is on at first. Milwaukee leading 4-2. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Game 5. Base hit. Here comes Ogilvy. He's going to come around to score. It's 5-2. Money goes into 3rd. were chanting, "We want Suter, we want Suter," and they just exploded on the base hit by Charlie Moore.
And the number 8 hitter in the Brewers lineup, Charlie Moore's hit the ball hard 3 times today, getting home that another insurance run.
He went around, says Davidson.
Joe, did you see Moore on that ball? Looked like it was low in the strike zone, a pretty good pitch. He was determined to hit that ball the opposite way. Wait that split second longer. That shoulder stayed in, and pow, the opposite direction.
He was going to try to send that thing, I believe, Tony, up the middle or right side, like you say. He wasn't going to overswing, inside-out swing. Doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 run is in. Money is on at third. Charlie Moore is on at first. 5-2, bottom of the 8th, Milwaukee leading. One and 2.
These Milwaukee fans, like a forsaken lover, have been angry for a long time that the Braves left them and went to Atlanta. And they were really rooting during the National League playoffs for Atlanta to win. There would have been nothing more delicious for these fans. They were chanting, "We want the Braves, we want the Braves," and cheer the Brewers. Taking that same kind of feeling out on Suter. We want the best. We want to beat the best.
Another base hit. Money scores. It's 6-2. Charlie Moore heading for third.
New Year's Eve. Look at this crowd.
I think Suter in this situation really isn't snapping that thing on. He can come back in 6 in Game 7 and shut you down in a hurry, as he has twice already in this series. He's got that kind of temperament.
Hot smash, Ozzie Smith. Over to her. The force is on. But the crowd reacting as Suter walks off. Milwaukee picking up 2 more runs. And 2 up for St. Louis in the 9th. Lonnie Smith, Dave Green, and Keith Hernandez. 6-2 the Brewers as we end 8th. Young Miller High Life is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Robin Young to the Special Olympics. Caldwell was a big hero. Young, listen to this crowd. They are ready. Lonnie Smith will lead it off. Molitor, 1 out.
Been saying all this series, the best defensive infield in baseball belongs to the St. Louis Cardinals, but after today, I may come up with a tie after this play. The way Cooper has played, and Yount, Gantner, double play throws getting off, Molitor right then.
They have been sensational.
And Mike Caldwell, who won the first game, has been just in complete command. Base hit by David Green. And he's heading for 2, and he'll make it. A double for Green. So he's on at second base. 6-2 is the score. Milwaukee out in front, top of the 9th, and Hernandez is the batter.
Green, of course, the young man who belonged to the Brewers at one time, and Whitey Herzog heard of him and wanted him.
And the Cardinals keep their record for the game of having at least 1 base runner every inning.
Hernandez single in the first, double in the third, walked and hit to a force play. He's made 120 pitches, this man. He has allowed 12 base hits, but only 2 runs. Strike 1. Right now, there are 56,562 umpires in the stands, moving and calling every pitch. David Green on at second base. One ball, one strike.
You know, we made fun of the cap of Mike Caldwell. Looks as if he's had it all year. It has been a long year. There may be some perspiration marks in that cap going back to Sun City and spring training. It's been a long time. Almost 7 months they've been at it. Practice first game way back in March.
Foul ball. I tell you, you mentioned Sun City. That Harvey Keene, who lives out there, is about the mayor of Sun City. He is something.
He could be governor of this state. He gets the loudest cheers in the introduction.
23 base hits in this ball game. Cardinals have had their opportunities. They have left 10 on base through 8 innings. Got another one sitting there at second base now.
It's 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Top of the 9th. David Green at second. Two balls, 2 strikes. Caldwell, who's just been nibbling all day long, in control. He has walked 2. He's allowed 12 hits, but he's been in control. He's had a lot of help, but he keeps the ball in play. 3-2. The Milwaukee bullpen is busy as Hernandez gets the count up to 3-2.
16, there's Ladd, Peter Ladd. 16 ground ball outs for Caldwell in this ball game. He's had a lot of help from his friends behind him.
Down the left field line, foul.
Those 2 runs scored by Milwaukee in the last of the 8th are so very big now. With Green aboard, Hernandez otherwise would represent the tying run with the big guns Hendrick and Porterman, who can hit the ball out of the park, sitting behind Hernandez.
And the battle begins once more. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Caldwell against Hernandez. Base hit in the right center field. Dave Green will score easily. It's extra bases for Hernandez. He has himself a double.
And don't say finito yet, folks. Cardinals have come from behind before in this World Series.
Boy, the play by Molitor plays very large now in this inning. If he doesn't get Lonnie Smith, this would be the tying run at the plate.
It is 6-3. And George Hendrick, who will be 33 years old tomorrow.
Hernandez has hit the ball hard 4 times, so that may portend of things to come.
Strike 1. One strike on Hendrick. Up the middle, a base hit. It is 6-4. Hendrick is on, and now the tying run is at the plate.
Caldwell.
And here comes Harvey.
And Raleigh's not up. Peter Ladd is.
It's interesting, too, because you had Ladd, a right-hander, and have to face the left-hander Porter.
Then a string of lefty. McGee goes to the left side. Oberkfell left. Herr can go to the left side. Ozzie Smith to the left side. So Keene is limited.
He was hoping he could stay with the left-hander and get that final out.
Bud Selig was right. This Milwaukee team, every game is a stress test for the fans.
The left-hander. So apparently McClure had gotten up in the meantime. He didn't throw very much. They've given the signal, McClure and Ladd. McClure has not thrown that many warm-up pitches, so he's going to take his time. Look at, he's still coasting along out there. He'll get 8 when he comes out to the mound.
McClure got the save yesterday, working an inning in 2/3.
Hey, the rest of the bullpen, the men on the phone, are not giving the word to McClure that the signal has been made very quickly, and I don't blame them.
Well, you don't do that. You just, the line is busy. Now McClure's, oh, you calling me? I mean, there's 56,000 people here to know it, but the bullpen didn't. Caldwell did a tremendous job. He should get a big hand when he walks off. We've got a break in the action here. It's 6-4. Tying run is at the plate. Darrell Porter is the batter. A new pitcher. We'll be right back after these messages. The new pitcher, and he did quite a job for him, Tony.
Joe, when you look back to the piece that Tom Seaver did with Dick Enberg before Game 1 about the difference in the parks, the turf, the spacious park. The Brewers in Game 1 and the 10-0 win, 10-0 win, hit about 8 or 9 balls that were artificial surface hit that just got by. You take this ball game and show the difference in the dirt and the grass today. The great plays by the Brewers, and they were great in their defense. What if, again, if we played in the other park? But it's not, I know, but to show you, to make the point that Tom did, what a difference it has made. These plays would not have been made, or not as many, by the Brewer infield.
They had 14 hits and might have had 20 had it been played on an artificial.
And how many runs?
It's a whole different kind of ball game. Right now, it's McClure against Porter. Henrik is on at first base. There's one man out. 6-4 is the score, top of the 9th. Porter is 0 for 4. Base hit in the right field. Henrik will stop at second base. And the crowd now has to go silent because these Cardinals have it going. 6-4 is the score. Tying runs are on.
Look who's up.
Willie McGee is the batter. McGee has 1 base hit today. He has 2 home runs in the series. Tough man to get on a double play. There you see the base runners. Henrik at second. Porter is on at first. Strike 1.
I asked him his 4 home runs during the regular season. How did you do? He said, well, I hit 2 of them right-handed. It's not that I don't have any power on that side. Of course, there's 2 home runs in this series. On Friday night, we're both left-handed.
Simmons out for a conference with McClure. McGee had a pretty good cut on the pitch up out of the strike zone.
Looked like he got away with a high curveball.
Simmons may have said, get it down, get the ground ball, like that. See?
He did, right on the outside corner. 2 strikes. Bob McClure in relief of Mike Caldwell.
He struggled his first appearance in the series. He walked Hernandez, may have set up a Cardinal run or 2. Last ball game he was in, he did a good job.
Henrik is on at second. Porter is on at first. Struck him out. Breaking ball.
The value of a catcher named Ted Simmons. The first pitch up in the strike zone. Teddy went out at a conference, sinker low, breaking ball low.
That was a great shot of how to catch that ball because he caught it with the open face coming up and showed the umpire. And we've got a pinch hitter coming out. Watch this catch by Simmons. Watch his glove now. And he'll show it to the umpire right there to show it did not hit the ground. Good play.
Gene Tennis to pinch hit. Well, can you imagine what it would be like if this game at this point were where we're going, Busch Stadium, St. Louis? That crowd would really turn around.
Pinch runner also at first base.
Ramsey's coming in.
Mike Ramsey. Well, Gene Tennis has had a taste of MVP history.
1972 was his year. Hit 4 home runs. His first 2 at-bats in the World Series were home runs. That's a record. And a man you like up there under pressure. He is so cool and calm.
Discipline. He's the pinch hitter. 2 outs. 6-4. Milwaukee, top of the 9th. Left field, this could be it.